gaining a lot of weight, being a mom, not feeling adequate enough to go to the gym, being a stay-at-home mom and losing yourself and realizing you don't know who you are anymore and finding that confidence again in yourself. We've all lost ourselves at some point.
Were you afraid?
I had to hide them from my husband.
Really?
I pretty much had panic attacks in my closet because he believed in me. He believed in me. And then there comes a point where you don't believe in yourself. Like, can I really do this? Can I make this happen? But I started it because I found my purpose and I wanted to do this. And looking back, I had no idea I would own 2 gyms. And then a year and a half later, I opened my second location to make an impact and change more lives. I had no idea that I would own 2 businesses years ago.
What would you say to the woman that is afraid of pursuing her purpose because she's afraid of feeling that mom guilt, or she's afraid of the commitment of not being able to balance pursuing your purpose and being a mom?
I think if you know that.
Welcome to Her Purpose, the podcast where together we dive into the inspiring journeys of women who are living out their purpose, not just for themselves, but in a way that serves others and creates lasting impact. I'm your host, Kendra Morris, and I'm here to share stories of women who've discovered their passions, overcome obstacles, and found fulfillment in stepping into the work that they know they were meant to do. In each episode, we'll explore what it means to live fully, embrace your unique gifts, discover the purpose in past experiences, often painful ones, and use them to make a difference in the world. So if you're ready to be inspired and empowered to pursue your own path of meaningful purpose, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. And remember, let no one clip your wings. In today's episode, I'm so excited for you to hear Carie Perham's story of turning her passion into purpose. Her journey is a true testament to the power of believing yourself and following your gut. Carie started as a member of Burn Boot Camp, simply looking to better her health. Little did she know that the experience would spark a fire in her that led her to owning not just 1, but 2 Burn Boot Camp locations in Chandler, Arizona. We're diving into her inspiring story of transformation, how she turned her passion for fitness into a thriving business, and what it's like to build a community that empowers others to become their best selves. If you've ever thought about taking a leap into entrepreneurship or wondered how to turn your personal experiences into a business, this episode is for you. I am so excited to be talking to you today. So my friend Jamie told me a little bit about your story, and the main thing that I want to share that she has said about you before we get into this interview is that you are a successful businesswoman, and she loves what you've done with the Burn Boot Camp gym that she goes to. But she said her influence is so far beyond just the gym and the way that she impacts people's lives and the things that she's passionate about bringing to women's lives is what stands out to her. So I just want to preface this interview with the reason that I wanted to talk to you was the impact that you're making on women around you. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know you moved to, is it North Carolina at one point?
Yeah.
So were you from Arizona?
I am born and raised in Arizona. I'm a native. My husband's a native. Grew up here my whole entire life, have 3 children. Then about 9 years ago, my husband's job was relocating to North Carolina. And when we were moving, my kids were heading into kinder, first, and third. And then we found out school started a little bit earlier in North Carolina. So the kids and I went out there before my husband did. But yeah, we are born and raised here and just moved across the nation to North Carolina. So
I know just a little bit about kind of what sparked your interest in working out. Were you working out before you moved? Were you part of?
So no, not really. So in my college days, I would work out all the time. And then mom era entered. And I had 3 kids back to back. My oldest was 3.5 and my third one was being born. So I kind of just banged him out, gained a lot of weight, enjoyed that mom era of just doing life. And then when I was ready to go back to the gym, I was really embarrassed of where I was at weight-wise.
Did that keep you from going to the gym? Did that hold you back?
Absolutely. I felt like I wasn't in shape to go to the gym and didn't look apart to go to the gym. So I kind of hired a personal trainer to come to my house to make me feel that I could be in a place to go to the
And
gym,
that is so
not be.
sad. That I think that's a common belief. I think a lot
Oh, it's very common.
you
It's very common. Fast forward to present day, like I know that women are scared to come
Mhm.
into the gym because they don't feel like they can do
Right.
it.
They feel like
And
everyone there is probably thinking, why are you don't belong here because you don't look like we look.
yeah, and then you do finally maybe shed some pounds. I ended my pregnancies at 236 pounds. When I decided to do something, I was 209 pounds, finally lost some weight, went to the gym and didn't feel like I even had the outfits that women were wearing at the gym. And that's all my problem, that this is in my mind. This is how I was feeling. But mind games are real. Mind strength is a completely different muscle that also needs to be built and needs to get strong as well.
Absolutely.
And we forget that we need strength mentally as well. And then I would lug my 3 kids to the gym, and the big box gyms were big and crowded and sick. And it just felt like it just kind of wasn't that phase of my life right now. So I was still periodically going, but I wasn't like an avid gym goer per se.
And that's when you lived in Arizona or after you had moved to North Carolina?
When I lived in
Yeah.
Arizona.
Okay.
So then we had relocated to North Carolina, and my kids and I were living in a hotel. And we moved on a Thursday, and my youngest started kindergarten on that Monday. I registered them for school. I filled out the emergency contact forms, and I left the emergency contact to be determined. I knew no one.
Wow.
And then I'm thinking, this is a really bad situation that I didn't really think through. Like if something were to happen to me during the day, no one would know.
Right.
And who would they call for my kids? Looking back, I didn't think some of these things through. So then after I dropped them off, I would just go to the hotel and sit there and kind of cry because mom dating in your 40s is really hard. Where do you meet people when you don't have your kids at home with you? You're at such an advantage when you have your kids at home because having kids is a new transition in life anyways. If you are a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, you're just in a different phase of life, and you're looking to surround people who are in that same phase of life with you. And so then when they started school, I'm like, how do you mom date? How do you meet people? You can't just go to the park with a bag of goldfish and eat. People are going to think you're crazy. You can't go to Chick-fil-A. I mean, you can, but at least when you have your kids with you, you can just talk to a stranger. Um, so it was really hard, just socializing and being around people. We are not meant to live life alone. We are meant for connection. We are
Right.
meant for community. And so then I joined a big box gym, which is they're fine. It just was another day in, day out. And then a local burn boot camp was opening in my hometown for a free 30 days. And I signed up for it. I wanted to vomit pulling up. I'm like, I can't do this. But I took that step and I walked through those doors.
And you started your fitness journey. How
Yes.
how
And
go ahead.
so I found myself going back for more for various reasons. A, the community and connection, being amongst like-minded women for 45 minutes. Everyone dropped their kids off at school, or everyone left their kids in date in the child watch. So you all had 45 minutes and you would give each other high five and just feel somewhat inspired by others. So the community and the connection was important to me. And then I fell in love with the workouts as well. And then I also suffer from an autoimmune. I have rheumatoid arthritis. So, for those of you who aren't aware of rheumatoid arthritis, it's an autoimmune that your insides attack each other because they think there's a foreign object in your body. So, when you have inflammation, it's not inflammation from just eating a cheeseburger, it's an inflammation because your body is attacking the tissue. So, my wrist would flare up. And so the trainers would modify my workouts for me. So then I fell in love with something that I knew I needed in my life.
Was there a period of time? So for me, I want to ask a little bit about like helping women just get on the journey of physical fitness. For me, most of my life, I've resented working out and I've had this resistance to working out. And I had this big shift of going from I'm working out because I hate something about my body to I'm working out because I love my body.
So it is a big shift. It is a mind shift. Workout is working out is not a punishment for what you did last night.
Yes.
Working out is not a punishment for celebrating a girls' weekend. Working out is not saying you shouldn't have had that today. We are going to go to the gym. Working out is to celebrate what your body can do and all that it's worth and all that it's capable of. Working out is good for your mind. Working out is good for your longevity of life, to live a longer life, to be able to run around with your kids, to be able to see your grandchildren one day. Working out is not just for building muscle. Working out is also good for your bone strength, and we need our bones for the rest of our lives. Working out is good for your mental state. There are so many benefits of working out. It's not just for building muscle.
At what point in your own personal journey did you decide this is something that I want to share with other women? And like, did you know you were going to run a burn boot camp one day?
No. So I graduated from Arizona State University, and which is look crazy looking back, in recreation management and tourism. And I was an event planner for years for a major oil company, and then I was a planner for the Gilbert for a local chamber of commerce. Then I stayed home for 10 to 12 years and had kids. I didn't know what my next phase of life was going to be, but I knew that I was meant for more, but I didn't know what it was. Um, and then I joined Burn, and I absolutely fell in love with it for so many reasons. Burn got me through some really tough times physically and mentally. And I knew that we were moving back to Arizona. So we were there for 2 years. And I told my husband, I said, I cannot not have this in my life. And I said, I know how many women at that time, it was women only. We are now co-ed. I'm like, I know how many women this would benefit. How many women would benefit from this? We have Child Watch, and just being amongst a community who inspires, empowers, and transforms everyone in all shapes and walks of life, all ages, all stages. We are so welcoming at any phase. Come as you are. And I convinced my husband and called and inquired about the franchise, got all the statistics, and he said, let's do it. And then I'm like, oh, right? But it was something I was passionate about, and it was something that I believed in, and I knew that it could make an impact, and I knew it was going to be work. Brand awareness, building a brand. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I believed in it.
Right. So I love speaking to that drive of pursuing a passion and turning that into a business, and the journey. I think a lot of people have things they're passionate about, but the journey of getting there, like what did that look like for you?
So like I'm going to backtrack a little. I think like my personal journey of gaining a lot of weight, being a mom, not feeling adequate enough to go to the gym, being a stay-at-home mom and losing yourself and not find and realizing you don't know who you are anymore and finding that confidence again in yourself. Then relocating to another state, not knowing anyone. I felt like that put me in so many different walks of life that I experienced. Like this was part of the path that I was meant to be on, and I had no idea there was something greater waiting for me. So then my husband agreed, like, let's do this. And what was your question again?
Well, there's so many things that I'm like, oh my gosh, listening to you talk about being a mom whose children are growing up and wondering where's my place now. That's so relatable. As your kids get old and they're
We could talk
little.
about mom guilt. I mean, we could just talk about all the different avenues the different faucets that go along with it.
I feel like there's a certain period in a woman's life where their purpose completely changes, and that's what this is all about.
Absolutely.
Helping women find their purpose, and that for most women in their 40s is going to be entirely different than it has been for the last 15 years, 10 or 15 years. So we're still moms. You're never going to not be a mom, but like how
Yeah.
can you turn a passion into a purpose? How can you turn your past experiences, your past pain points of struggling with your self-identity and struggling with your self-worth, and obviously working out, like for me, working out has become, I work out to make me feel good, not so much to like have a certain body. It's like more for my mind even than it is for my body now. But helping women find a way to make an impact and help people through a passion. So when you started to do this burn thing, were you afraid? Were you like, did you have fears that it wouldn't work or that you would have a hard time
Oh,
building a
I had
business?
1,000,000 fears. In fact, I had to hide them from my husband. I
Really?
pretty much panic attacks in my closet because he believed in me. He believed in me. And then there comes a point where you don't believe in yourself. Like, can I really do this? Can I make this happen? And then it's almost like, wake up, let's go. Like, you are going to pound the pavement. You are going to work hard, and you are not going to hit rock bottom. You are going to make this happen, and you will work hard, and you will get your message out there,
Mm.
and you will find your way. And it's a lot of perseverance, and it's a lot of hard work. And I think the hardest thing is, and this is all aspects of life, the hardest thing is believing in yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially,
And that just goes anywhere in life, is believing in yourself is the hardest thing.
yeah. All of the days that you experienced that self-doubt, like what was it that helped you get past that on those days that you were in the closet?
I think it was mainly my husband believed in me
Yeah.
and thought I could do this. And I'm like, when you are opening a business or going a different route, there is a financial obligation associated with it. I wouldn't say obligation, but I
Risk.
mean, you're signing leases, you're putting money down. Like,
Mhm.
wow, like he believes in me. Like, I've gotta get my mind right. And then, we have a family, we have kids, but it's also so exciting too. It's so exciting. Like, that's part of it. Like,
I want to
change is really scary, but change is really hard. If you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. Doing different things gets different results.
I want to ask
And
you, when you said I want to get my message out there, what do you believe is your message to women?
I think that we every woman is made for more, and like we had touched on, there are so many different journeys and stages of women's life, and we all lost ourselves. We've all lost ourselves at some point, whatever stage it is, and it's like, you are there. You can find it. You can dig deep. You are beautiful. You are worthy. You are strong. I mean, you are seen. So many women and men just want to be seen, and we make sure that you're seen.
At your gym, you mean, as far as like
Yeah.
for the members? How
Yeah,
many
because you never know someone's day they're having. They chose to come here. We're giving them that high five and that good vibe. No matter what business you're in, they're choosing to come to you. They're choosing to buy the product from you. They're choosing to work out with you. Like, I am very grateful for that. There's a million other places someone could go to. There's a million other products someone could buy, but they chose you, and I welcome that. And I am excited that they chose me. Or
Absolutely. When you started the gym, were you doing that because you felt like I need to find a way to make money, or was it I have been
it wasn't necessarily find a way to make money. My husband's like, "You're like starting a glorified moms club."
that's awesome.
Right? I did it because I believed in it. I knew it would be work. Yes, there is some reward with it, obviously. Um, but I started it because, like, I found my purpose and I wanted to do this. And it's no, looking back, I had no idea I would own two gyms. And then a year and a half later, I opened my second location to make an impact and change more lives. Like, I had no idea that I would own two businesses years ago.
Right, prior to you had no business background, no it,
No, I mean, I was an event planner. That's pretty much
I
it.
mean, which an event planner takes a
For
strong
sure. I think exactly. I think that's where I get a lot of my multitasking, a lot of my ideas, a lot of the things that happen in the gym. But I find my way, and I rely on my team. I empower my team, and I believe in my team, and I let them grow into the leaders that they are meant to be as well.
How big is your team? How big is the gym?
Um, I have, between the two gyms, I have about 32 staff members.
Wow.
Child watch, I have a team of like 11 or 12 trainers. I've got 6 or 7 front desk workers, about 12 or so child watch workers. And then between the two gyms, mid 700 members.
Wow, that was my next question is how many people's lives have you impacted, do you believe, since you've started it in their health and wellness or fitness journey?
thousands.
Yeah.
And it's the most rewarding, like, um, just the stories they share. Like, I didn't know that maybe I needed a counseling degree to do this. Like, I am sometimes the first person they tell when they find out they have cancer, or when their spouse passed away, or when they're going through a hard time and they're telling me that they can't afford to come to burn anymore. And I'm like, don't even worry about this. I'm going to take care of it until you're in a place where you can contribute. But right now, I know that you need this in your life because you need the community and you need your friends. That I'm not going to take that away from you right now. So you keep doing it and worry about that later. Like, it's such an honor and it's such a privilege. And both gyms were open during COVID in 2020. And if it weren't for my members and it weren't for our community, we wouldn't be here.
Right. So what year
Yeah.
did your first gym open?
My South Chandler location opened in 2018, and then my Gilbert East location opened in 2019. So they were a baby. They were only open 9 months before we had to shut down.
So when the shutdown happened, what did you do through that first period?
So we pivoted. I had a team meeting that night, and the very next day, I chose to close our gyms on our own without being told to close because I could see where it was going. And I knew, like, for the community, it was the right thing to do. And then the very next day, we pivoted to Facebook Live workouts. And it was so funny because my team, none of us, we're not virtual. We have no idea. We set up our iPad flip reverse, and then I said, talk to the iPad like it's a member, train them. And we were all in the background working out, and we had never done anything like this before. My trainers weren't online trainers, but we did it. We did it day in and day up, day in and day out. And our members tell us to this day, thank you for getting us through that time, because they came in every day on virtually to see us.
That's so amazing. At what point did you go back to it opening up? How long were you like that?
I think we were closed for probably like what, 3 months.
Oh,
Then they
sounds fun.
reopened again, and then we closed down again, and then we switched it immediately to parking lot camps because it was probably starting to cool down a little bit because we're in Arizona and it's awful.
Right.
And then we switched to parking lot camps and did like 2 a day. And then I would sell like protein and retail outside, and people would just swing by and just want a connection and to talk to someone.
Right. And all of this stems from how you felt as a mom. I love how you said, what did you say, mom dating? I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Mom dating. It's so true. But you knew what it was like to be a mom and not know anybody, not know how to not socialize, but make friends.
Yeah.
How is it?
Moving to a new place. So many things.
Yeah. So how was it for you? Like, at what point did you, um, I guess, where did you identify that to be your purpose? Like, at what point were you like, this is why I'm here? And how did that period of time transition? I guess, how was that for you?
So when I first opened the gyms, I think I might answer this in a roundabout way. I'm not sure. We might have to circle back. Um, that answer of how I knew this was my purpose, I would say, has accumulated over time. I didn't really know how many purposes there would be.
Okay.
At first, when you open a new business, you work day and night. I didn't really have much staff because I didn't trust anyone else to work the front desk but me. So I probably worked 17 hours a day because you got one shot at this. So let's go. So I forgot it was my husband's birthday. Like, I mean, it was awful. And he did the Christmas shopping because I was too busy opening a gym, and my kids didn't see me
For how
for a couple
long?
months. I would say 2 to 3 months probably,
Okay.
because you're all in, and you're tired, you're working, and you're also like, why did I do this? Like, I don't even see my family. But then you start getting staff, and then you start getting processes, because if you've ever opened a business or whatever, you're like changing processes all the time because you don't know what you're doing. So you're finally starting to calm, and then I'm loving what I'm doing, and then members are sharing their stories, and I'm seeing them transform, and I'm seeing them find their confidence and them smile, and seeing a member wear a tank top for the first time, and I'm like, I just am addicted to it. I love it. I love it so much. And I'm like, this is my purpose. And then as a mom, you have that mom guilt for years. And my youngest is my daughter. And then I have two boys and a daughter. And I think as a mom, no matter what you do in life, even just being a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, taking time for you, you feel guilty. Even if it's 45 minutes in a camp, you feel guilty. You feel like you shouldn't be doing this because that's not your place right now, but it is your place. And then when I see my daughter's confidence in certain things in life that I knew I didn't have that confidence back then. And I'm just so proud of her that I feel like, you know what? All that mom guilt I had was a, an amazing and phenomenal example to my children that you don't realize it till years later.
So, would you say, actually, one of the things that my friend Jamie told me about you is that you are very good at balancing your business and your family life and your kids. You're super involved with your kids. They're very big into sports. Your oldest is playing football, right?
My oldest is varsity football. I have 3 kids in high school. I have a senior, sophomore, and freshman. My oldest is varsity football, my sophomore is JV football, and my daughter is freshman volleyball, and I am also the football booster president.
That's a lot.
So, I am wildly involved in their lives, but those are times that you can't get back,
No.
and you learn over like, to prioritize, like, no matter what you do, it's still going to be there tomorrow. That work is still going to be there. That problem that needs to be taken care of tonight, it's probably still going to be a problem tomorrow. I think you have to learn to breathe. You have to learn to prioritize. And you have to learn to let go, knowing everything's going to be okay. Because when I'm with my kids or I'm at the school, I'm with my kids and I'm at the school.
What would
And
you,
it's okay.
yeah, there's something to be said about being 100% where you are 100% of the time. That doesn't mean you're anywhere 100% of the time. It just means that you are 100% present wherever your presence is.
Yes. Yes.
But what would you say to the woman that is afraid of pursuing her purpose because she's afraid of feeling that mom guilt, or she's afraid of the commitment and balancing it, fear of not being able to balance pursuing your purpose and being a mom?
I think I think if you know that fear is real and common amongst everyone, that helps so much when you feel like you're not alone, the only one feeling that way. Like, it is a valid feeling. It is a real feeling. It's almost like a mandatory feeling to have those
Like,
feelings.
there'd be something wrong with you if you didn't.
Yeah. It's like when you have your first kid and then you're pregnant with your second, you feel guilty because you don't know if you can love that second child as much as your first, but you don't really want to say that. But then when you feel like other moms feel that way, you're like, oh my God, I'm human. I'm normal. This is so I think like if you realize like that is like a passageway of womanhood, like who doesn't feel that way? And lean into that, like recognize those feelings and feel those feelings, but also learning to give yourself grace and allow yourself that transition period too.
Right. What is at stake what does life look like if you are not pursuing your purpose?
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
These conversations show us that living with purpose is so not about perfection. It's about trusting the whispers of your heart, embracing what is probably going to feel like a mess, and having the courage to take that first or next step when you probably won't feel ready. I do believe that every woman has a story that's unfolding, and every story can become a spark of inspiration for someone else. So, if today's episode has touched you in any way, my ask is this: share it with a woman you love who might need a reminder that she's not alone, and those whispers she's feeling, they're there for a reason. All right, let's get back to the episode. Was there ever a period of time where you felt like you weren't living in your purpose and you were wondering like, why am I here? Or what is the point?
No, I think like that's a really tough question. I think we are all in different phases of life. I mean, you have your young teenage years that are completely different than your college years, and then you have your stay-at-mom era or your working mom era. I would never say like there was a purpose to all of that.
Right.
There was. I don't have like that's just everyone's part of everyone's life and everyone's journey that leads them to where they are today.
I speak to a lot of women that do live in that space where they're wondering, what is my purpose now? Where am I supposed to go now? What am I supposed to do now? And one of the biggest things that I always encourage is to lean into the pain points you've experienced. What what has your journey, what things about your journey have led you to where you are, that you can help someone that's five steps behind you, 2 years behind you, 6 months behind you. But there's just a lot of women I feel like that are struggling with like what's next if they've been, not so much if you're working. I think if you've been a working mom all through raising children, you probably don't experience that as much. But if you're a true stay-at-home mom,
If you're a stay-at-home mom, it is hard because I think I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 or 11 years, like I said, and it's finding that confidence in yourself because you feel like you aren't adequate. You feel like you don't have a resume. And we stay-at-home moms, you do not give yourself enough credit for everything you do. You are the glue. You are the nucleus that holds your household together. There is so much validity to being a stay-at-home mom. Like your knowledge, your power, your perseverance, your grit, you do not give yourself enough credit and all the value you do have. And I think it's just finding that strength to believe in yourself. And then you're feeling that you aren't worthy going up against other people, but you don't. I'm sorry about the
that's
binging.
okay.
But you don't know until you try, and it's taking that risk, and it's that unknown and fear and going for it.
Yeah, I think it's such a false story that if you've been a stay-at-home mom or just have been home that you're just a mom. Like that's a lie. That's such a lie. But I think a lot of women are stuck in that and wondering like,
Yeah.
who am I if I'm not just a mom, right? What am I doing if I'm just a mom,
We lose confidence in ourselves, like, "I'm just a mom."
right?
But, like, because it is hard, like, if you're out somewhere with couples and everyone's talking and they're like, "What do?" You're like, "I just stay home." But it's like, we need to stand proud and stand loud.
Mhm. I
It's a
want
lot
to
of work.
speak to the mom, maybe not the mom that is like wanting to pursue a passion and start a business, but the mom that just needs to start going to the gym. What would you say to that mom that is home and not from a standpoint of like, oh, there's something wrong with your weight or your body or your physical appearance, but what are you going to get on the other side of finding the courage to walk into that gym, whether it's Burn, in Chandler, in your gym?
Any gym, man, any gym, because you have to find something that works for you. If it doesn't work for you, you're not going. It's just taking that first step. It's being brave enough.
Mm.
I I understand that you walking through that door is hard, no matter which gym you go to. Taking that step and walking through those doors is hard, and it's hard doing it alone. But whoever's on the other side of that door, whatever gym it is in town, is going to greet you with open arms and thrilled you're there and is going to meet you where you're at. But it is a very big step, believing in yourself and pulling up. It's real. There are people, and I'm just speaking from my experience from Burn, and I'm sure it's the same at other gyms, but the Instagram and the social media, you have people following it for years, and they'll say, I've been following for years. And I don't think I could do this. Everyone looks so in shape. There is another side to social media. You're only seeing the people who want to be on camera, who are confident in themselves. You're not seeing the everyday who don't want to be on camera, who are not where they want to be. Um, so yeah, I mean, social media is awful, but it can be so powerful too.
I have so many customers in my business. Well, I'm not directly tied to fitness, but obviously health and wellness, where I want to highlight their story and share where they're at. And I hear that often. I'm not where I want to be. And I
Yeah,
always say, just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean you're not going to inspire someone. Because, like you say, if all you see is people where they want to be, then you're not part of the journey.
exactly. And when are you ever going to be happy and or satisfied? Because if you don't enjoy where you're at what point are you going to enjoy it? Um, I think I am very big into like celebrating life and this moving as an opportunity because I had my wrist fused last year because of my
Rheumatoid.
I have a functional grip. Some fingers don't move because of my rheumatoid arthritis. So it truly is an opportunity to move our bodies. And it does take that mental strength to like believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And All you have to do is just get started. And I know that is easier said than done.
On the mental side, were there any books or were there any certain people that you listened to or followed?
So the mental strength, I have two stories of mental strength. Like I have that opening a business mental strength. I guess I didn't realize that what comes along when you're opening a gym is that when you tell people you're opening a gym, the first thing they do is look at you up and down.
Interesting.
And that was really, really hard for me because I do have like a mom pouch. I had three children. Like it is what it is, right? I've got like the breast tissue above that people don't want to wear tanks because this is real. It is what it is. I don't have I throw tires over my shoulders, banging bikini body, but I do have three children. I do have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm
Mm.
limited and there's just so many things. And so the mental strength at first was not there. And then I realized they don't know my story and I don't need to make excuses for how I am. They don't know my story, but I know my passion and I know that I'm here to make a difference and that's all that matters. So I think like that I have that mental strength and then the mental strength of working out is because I do have to modify. I mean, I have found myself going into the bathroom crying because I can't do the same thing as other people. And then modifications comes with such a negative connotation that we actually try not to use the word in my gyms. They're alternative movements because when you say modifying, you just feel or think you're doing less than someone else, but you're not doing less than someone else. You're doing an alternative movement that works for you and is challenging you where you're at. So just getting that mental strength because women sometimes think they have to go like balls to the walls and all in or all out and that may not work for their body shape and or body type. And sometimes like on hit workouts, I have to take out a lot of the impact and step it out. But I'm doing me for me and it is the mental strength to be able to get to that point to do that. But we have that environment that you can see people on the floor doing all sorts of different things. So you have to be in an environment that supports that and welcomes that where everyone just feels successful.
I have two questions. One thought that comes up is I feel that's very common in this world, that belief that you have to be all in or all out. And we really need to work on being in flow in our journey, in balance. And like you said, you're not punishing yourself for having a girls' night. There's room for a fitness journey and girls' night. There's room for, having treats and to
It's balance.
and loving our bodies. But the other thing that I wanted to ask is, Burn, do they have a program that teaches this? You're obviously an amazing leader for the gym that's all about acceptance and love yourself where you are. Is that something that is you, or is that something that is also tied to Burn? Because Burn is a franchise, correct?
Burn is a franchise, and their mission is to change the lives of daily women and men in quick, effective 45-minute workouts while finding the strength in our body and our mind and our soul. So I do think that that is the overall encompassing message and mission of Burn is that same empowering environment. 1000% that should be the standard amongst all burns. But if you talk to Jamie, she will tell you that I'm extra. But I think that is the overall. I think I just hone in and drill in a little more. And then I'm very present here and I hear my members and their needs and then throw in some seminars to like the perimenopausal population and just do things that I know we as a community need.
She mentioned that. Actually, it's so funny that you say that. She mentioned that specific one that she had to miss because of her, I think she had just had her surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel your personal experience, you must have had an experience of that welcoming, accepting when you first went to a burn in North Carolina. You must have
Oh,
experienced.
that trainer there changed my life. Like I loved him. He gave me a high five. He knew my name. He recognized me on day 2. He's like, "Welcome back, Carie." I mean, his name is Emmett. I adored him. He is the most amazing trainer, and he made a difference in my life.
And then you wanted
And
to do that for others.
he was always there to modify my workouts, and he lifted me up so many times when I felt I couldn't lift myself up, and changed my life. So I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And then on my team, we have the same values amongst my whole entire team.
Mm.
That none of this is about us. All of this is about them and changing lives and being a part of it. And it's an honor.
Right, right. How has launching Burn, your 2 gyms, how has this impacted your life since not necessarily starting? Because obviously in that first window, which my heart goes out to you because I understand exactly what it takes to run a business and get a business off the ground. It's like I've always heard it explained as it's like getting an airplane in the air. It takes a
Of
lot
course.
to get it in the air. Once it's in the air, maintaining is a different thing. It's just a lot. There's a lot. I don't. It's very hard to talk about helping people launch businesses and build businesses without having some sense of sacrifice in that conversation, because there's no way to do it without some sacrifice. But also you have to find that place where you pull back the reins and you let go of perfection. Like there's a place for both, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's beyond that first period. What is all the blessings? What have all the blessings been? I know you've talked a little bit about how you've
I
seen.
think I think all of the blessings are, I can't even tell you, hearing everyone's stories. Like, I see their differences and sometimes they don't see them.
Mhm.
And hearing their stories, I think, especially Brian being 6.5 years old at this one location and 5 at the other, like I have had a member and her mom, she has gotten engaged, married, had a kid, started kindergarten. I I am we
Invested.
all of us are a part of each other's
Right.
lives. Like, we've seen Morgan have her baby, have her son, and now he's off to preschool, and, like, it's just incredible being a part of so many of these women's lives and see what they've been through, and it's family. Like, it's tenfold, it's family, and I think there's so many great things. I mean, I've met some amazing women and forged some amazing friendships as well. But seeing the women find their tribes and seeing them all go to brunch and happy hour and all dress up as a team for Halloween, like, I'll ask them, like, "How long have you guys known each other?" And they're like, "We met in 8:30 camp like 2 years ago." And I'm like, all of these friendships have flourished and developed within these 4 walls, and it's freaking incredible.
That
It's amazing.
that sounds so fulfilling. I feel like that sounds so like just fulfilling.
Yeah, it's like my cuppeth runneth over. Like, it's just, I think I don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, I do, but, like, man, when I see and hear the stories of what others have gone through, like, it's just a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. It always puts things into perspective. One thing that you said that just sparked a thought in me, because I feel like this is really at the root of any woman's purpose. Like if a woman is wondering what is your purpose, what is a moment in your past that you were, I would say, either inspired or like your life changed? And what was his name? You said his name. He was your first personal trainer.
Emmett.
Emmett. Emmett changed your life. So looking back, other women listening in your life, who is someone who has changed your life? And then consider, could you do the same thing for other people? Because that's what you've done. That's what exactly what you walked out, right? He did that for you. And now you're walking it out on a much larger scale because you're not even just a personal trainer, you are a gym owner, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever
No, I'm thinking, like, if anyone else made, like, so much of a grand impact in my
have you ever
life.
thought about how much Emmett's role played a part in where you're at today?
Oh, 1000%.
So you,
It's crazy. It's crazy, all of it. Like, if he wasn't there that day, would I be where I am today?
right?
Um, he cared. I was seen. He genuinely cared about my journey and led me to where I am today. He knows. I've sent him messages.
Do
It's
you?
wild.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I bet he loves getting those messages. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that just says a lot to if you're running a gym, that are you making that impact for the people that are walking in your doors? Are you realizing the fears that are in that woman's mind? Obviously, we're mostly talking to women, but anyone, like what is
Yeah.
all the things that they're having to overcome just to get in the front door? Much
Well, and that's what's awesome is like it's not just me. Like my team is making an impact.
mm,
Whether it's the girls at the front desk, just giving them a high five or greeting them. We've gotten messages saying, "I can't tell you what a crappy day I had." And like I wasn't going to go to the gym, but I did and I was greeted like with a high five and it turned my day around. Like you get just there's just so many ways of making a difference that my front desk girls don't give themselves enough credit of what a difference they're making in someone's life. And I know my trainers have changed thousands of lives and I know the impacts they've made. I know that they believe in those women on the floor more than the women believe in themselves. They're pushing those members. They're believing them in their strength because they don't believe in themselves.
I have to say, I don't know your people, but I am very impressed with the leadership that you have to have a staff like that that is so passionate about helping every single person. So from a leadership standpoint, what books or what things have influenced you to be such a strong leader?
Um
You're like, I
I
just
haven't
match.
really dabbled in a lot of books. I just I think it just comes from I understand that people want to be seen, cared for, loved, and valued.
Right. Do you feel like that's rooted in a period of time where you weren't seen, loved?
Oh, 100%. People want to be recognized. People want to be seen. People want to be valued. Oh, 100%. It comes from an upbringing, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a tough that I feel
But I'm also thankful for certain things because that's what makes you who you
right.
are. Because you get things because of could the way things went.
Were or were not. And that exactly. That's probably why it's so fulfilling for you is that it's almost like a healing. I think if you have an experience that was painful and then you almost get to heal that wound or that painful experience through being that for other people, right?
There is a story
Do you
behind
want to share?
everyone.
I feel like I don't know if you want to share.
Probably not.
Okay.
There there is a story behind everyone. I mean, I have a dad that told me I was gonna hit rock bottom, just so many things. Not really involved in my life. It's almost like my dad passed away years and years and years ago, but he's alive. Doesn't acknowledge me, my kids, and it's like doesn't never ask about my businesses. Well, we don't talk. But it's like doesn't see my worth, I guess. So I never want anyone to ever feel that way. I want them to feel seen and worthy and loved and know that they are capable of so much.
At what point did you realize that you no longer needed that from him? That you could give that to yourself?
That's probably still ish sometimes, right? I mean, but I think a lot changed having children
Yeah.
and like all when you have kids like that's all that matters.
Well, it's
Like
interesting.
I I am a part of my children's
Yeah,
life and could never envision not being
right.
and thrilled about it. It's an honor.
It's interesting how it seems that there's either you repeat the cycle or you break the cycle.
Yeah. I think I'm not saying people are victims because that's harsh, but like there's a lot of people who have been through things that you may think, oh, they're so successful, life's been easy for them, but you'll never know the journey they've been on, or the shoes they've been in, or how they've walked a trail or a path. And then, but there's people who have been a part of it, but like you can get out of it, you can break the mold. You don't. It's mind. Everything goes back to that mind strength a lot.
What is one thing that you would like to share that might help someone either go to the gym or pursue a passion that maybe they don't?
Gosh, That's like two things for sure. For the gym, man, if you just take that first step, no matter what door you're walking through, if you just take that first step, and I think it's not hey, if I can't go 5 days a week, so I'm not going to go at all. It's setting small goals and celebrating them. I can only go 2 times this week. 2 times is freaking amazing, and celebrate it and be proud of it. It is not if I can't go 5 days, or if I can't do whatever wellness for 5 days, I'm not doing it at all. Like, start small, do baby steps. Stop beating ourselves up. We as women, it never ends. We can pick apart our bodies. We can pick apart our homes. We can pick apart what our children do or don't do compared to Sally Sue and whatever. Like, we need to live in the moment, and we need to love ourselves for all that we are and all that we're worth. And you have to find that inner drive yourself. No one can do it for you but you.
Yeah.
And it's just taking that step and entering past the unknown. The unknown is scary. The unknown is hard, but you don't know what's on the other side of that door. It could be a new career path. It could be a new friendship. It could be a new opportunity. You just don't know.
Absolutely.
And then business-wise, almost the same thing. You don't know what's on the other side of that door. You don't know. If everyone knew what was on the other side of the door, you don't think, I wish I had a glass ball or an 8 ball that could tell me, is this going to work out? Is this going to be okay? But that is part of life, is taking risks. But the reward, not even financially, just personally, physically, mentally, can be so rewarding.
Absolutely. Carie, you're amazing.
But let me tell you, I have had a lot of failures, and I have screwed up a lot of things, a million things. But like, failure is an opportunity to learn, to do something different, to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does not define you. And it's part of the process no matter what. There's no possible way of having actual success without having failures along the way. Like, I think that's
Exactly.
you're not going to get it right the first time. It's not.
I mean, you are putting out wildfires. You're like a freaking monkey in a circus. You don't even know up from down. Like, you seriously don't even know what you had for breakfast that morning.
I feel like we need to probably wrap it up because I've already taken up so much of your time, but I'm thinking, like, how long was it from start to where you were like, okay, we got this. Like, this is all going to be okay.
I'd probably say about like year 3. I'm like,
3 years.
Okay. Year 3. That's like depressing for someone. But
I know.
I know it was not the first year. Well, but that doesn't count, because the first year, and then year 2, I opened my second one. So then you get just as crazy. So that's what I'm saying, like year 3. Now, if I only had one business, it probably would have been year 2 of trusting in your team.
Yeah.
Trusting your team and letting go, because it's your baby. It is your baby. I had one baby, then I had a second baby, and they behave just like birth orders, you know?
That's hilarious.
But it is that letting go and trusting in your team and empowering your people.
Yes. And that, again, that speaks to incredible leadership. Like, you are obviously an incredible leader to be able to create that drive for your people to care about people as much as you do. You don't have employees. You have a team. You've said it many times. You don't say, I have staff. You say, I have a team. And that's a strong leader that looks at it that way as a business owner.
Yeah.
Well, you're amazing. I obviously see why Jamie thinks you're so awesome, and she loves being a part of your gym. I want just share one more time. Chandler is one location in Arizona. The second location is in
Gilbert East. Which is like 7 miles from here.
Yeah, it's all the same, right? It's so interesting when you go to Arizona, because it's like, and now we're in a new town. And I'm like, what? We just went from a neighborhood to another neighborhood. There's not.
That's fine.
It's interesting. I live in the country. Like, really country. So like, there's like fields before you go to the next town.
and you're meeting people from all over.
Yes.
That's fun. That's exciting.
It is super fun. Well, I will share all of your contact information in the description of this podcast. I thank you so much for sharing your heart with us.
Thank you for having me. It was great meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Have an awesome day.
You too.
Your dream, your voice, your way of showing up in the world, and the impact that you are meant to make to serve others matters more than you'll likely ever realize. Keep taking those brave steps forward. The world needs exactly what only you can give. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of our community. Until next time, stay true to yourself, stay purposeful, and as always, let no one clip your wings.